Headliners. I'm your host, Edward Mbeche, aka Ed Blaze, right? I have my friend today, Corey Brim. We were supposed to have another guest, but that guest did not show. Toure, comedian Toure, did not show up. So I got my friend Corey Brim with Sugar. You know what? I'm not gonna do introduction for your company because this is how you mess up thing. All I know, you make the best. You put the best parties, or you bring the best first class service to any event.
Yeah, well,
Corey.
thank you, man. So again, hey everybody, my name is Corey Brim. I do own a company called Sugar Something. What Ed was trying to say is
Sugar,
Sugar Rim
Sugar
Bar.
Rim.
Sugar Rim Bar, man. I do own a company called Sugar Rim Bar, and we do on average about maybe I don't even know, Ed, man. We're doing like 20 events a week, bro. Like we're out here crushing it, bro. We're out here in these streets. We out
That's a lot
hashtag
of
we
events.
outside. We outside.
Yeah, that's a lot of events. It's so hot right now. You gotta almost kind of um, kind of I don't know. You gotta stay cool. It's like 9 a.m. and it's like 90,
Yeah,
right?
Ed, I was supposed to be in Vegas today. I was actually supposed to be in Las Vegas right now today, and I'm here like it's 115 out there, 120 out there.
Yep, yep.
I'm at home in this AC.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, it's nice, kind of. Yeah. You say you're heading to Vegas?
No, I'm supposed to be in Vegas right now,
Oh, okay, okay.
but I
All
didn't
right.
go. I stayed. I have so many. I have some events here.
Mhm.
Vegas was a fun trip. It wasn't a
Yeah,
business trip. It was
yeah.
gonna be. I was gonna be spending some money and hanging out, and then at the end of it just didn't make sense, man. It didn't make sense. I got some stuff that I need to get there, business that I need to do here and get done. So I'm just staying. I'm gonna stay. So it's better for me to stay here and make money than go to Vegas and spend money.
Good, good. Yeah. So today we're just gonna. I guess we're just gonna be two of us, just kind of talking a normal conversation.
Yeah, man.
Since we lost our guest,
It's
you know.
okay. What I wanted to do today is I don't think a lot of people. I don't think I know a lot of people may know you, but I don't think they know your story. Like I've known you for a while, and I don't think I've ever heard you share your story. Right? Am
my
I
story.
wrong?
Yeah, yeah.
Am I
That
right?
that's that's kind of true. I mean, I guess some of this stuff. I put a book out. I have a book called World Pieces Comedy. It's been like on Amazon, Barney's, all over the place. If you search World Peace is Comedy by Ed Blaze, I put it up when I was traveling, when I was a traveling comedian. Yes.
Yeah, yes.
Um,
So let's do this. Ed. There may be some. Let's imagine that this is someone's first time getting introduced to you. I guess right. So
yeah.
they may not know you, may not even know what you do. Ed, I really honestly like you're one of those behind the scene people. Like people don't even know how connected you are in this world. So was comedy the thing that like got you out there? What was it like? How did it all start for you?
No. Okay. Maybe. Yeah. Let's go back. Should I even introduce myself saying
Yeah,
say I'm from Tanzania, Africa?
the
Yeah.
original Wakanda.
The original Wakanda. um, from Tanzania, um, Africa, East Africa. Been to the U.S. for over 20 years now, and so I guess I jumped into comedy after watching a lot of this. I, I didn't like okay. Growing up in Africa, I was just kind of like one of those kids, just kind of jumping, just making fun, and I went to a boarding school, just always cracking jokes with my classmate and all that. The
You were the
boarding.
class clown.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's the word. Yeah. Um, yeah, so when I came to America, it's like I used to love watching like BET, Comic View, and all the other, uh, like what is this? Def Jam comedy, right?
Right.
Um, so on in the way Def Jam, kind of like how like you watch someone comedy and you're like, wow, that joke almost the same. So I started writing also jokes, like with
Right.
my broken English. I'll be writing joke and I will hear jokes. They're telling joke. I'm like, whoa, he took almost the same kind of premises that I was is my joke. I'm like, oh, then I kind of start giving me the same kind of motivation to be like, you know what, I can do comedy too because actually what I'm writing, I was writing just to be like one day I'm gonna do comedy, but I didn't know how to start to get into comedy.
Right.
And I remember I was in California that time living, and I had my ex, and she took me to this open mic. And for some reason, she told them like, "Hey, yeah, he wants to be a comedian too." And I was like, "Okay." So they put me on stage, and I remember my English was horrible, like just broken. Now is a little bit better. So I was telling jokes, and they were laughing. I'm not sure if they were laughing at my joke or they are laughing because they didn't understand
You
what
got,
the heck I
yeah,
was
you got
talking.
the laugh though. You got the laugh, man.
Yeah, I know. Like I was like, yeah, but it's like I had no formation, I had no nothing. It's just like random. So after that, I didn't do anything again until for a few years later, I ended up living in DC. Living in DC, so I went to the DC Improv, and I was talking to the DC Improv management. I was like, hey guys, I want to do stand up comedy too, and how can I come perform here? They were like, oh, you cannot really perform here, but we have a class for comedy. And I was like, okay. So you need to register for the class for the comedy. So I registered the comedy class by Chris Kosher, my dude, like the
Mm.
veteran in the game. Chris Kosher, he's from Pennsylvania, but he did teaches at the DC Improv. So we did a 5 minutes to funny. What they do is they don't teach you how to be funny, but they teach you how to like just maybe to either like move on stage or kind of like or not necessarily teaching you how to do a punchline or whatever, but move you the etiquette on stage, how to
More like,
so,
more like working on your delivery or how to.
yeah, like your delivery, like say, hey, don't talk so fast, let people crowd, let people laugh or whatever, so let people absorb those jokes, whatever you're doing, right?
Don't do what I
uh,
do. Talk a million miles an hour.
yeah. So with that, it takes ball to do that, Peter. Yeah, Peter. Yes. So, but it's fun. So I did 5 minutes to funny. It was I think it was a 4 weeks training, 4 weeks training, and with that 4 weeks training, um, we end up what is it? We end up doing a show at the end of the class, doing the show at the end of the class where you invite your friends, everyone invite a friend, and then they come, the DC Improv send some invite to people to come. So the club was packed about like maybe 380 people in the club.
Wow. So
And
wait a
you know,
minute. Your first show out of comedy, you got a packed house of almost 400 people.
yeah, but again, it was not like it's more like friends. Friends will come
Yeah,
to
but still, you
support.
look,
Yeah,
man. You know,
yeah,
people got that story of like they were in a back room
yeah,
and somewhere and there was only two people. And they bombed at the two people joint. But
yeah.
you got a full capacity house of almost 400 people for your first show. So how'd that go?
Ah, man, it was awesome. Actually, it was so good. Like I had so much laugh. I remember so much laugh. Actually, I even have the video of that show.
Wow.
It was so much fun. So from there, because I was so into the comedy, like I wanted to just do comedy all over the place. I
No,
end
wait,
up.
hey, hold on, wait. Do you at this point do you have a 9 to 5 job? Because you're not making
Yeah,
money at comedy.
yes, no, yeah. You're right. So by that time, actually, I had my own limousine company.
Okay.
So yeah, so I had enough. I owned a limousine company. It was called DC Private Car. So I was doing that, um, and with that, it kind of helped me to bring some income for myself. And from there, what I owned the limousine. So after the show at the DC Improv, I decided to go to New York. I was like, I want to go do a New York show. So I went to the. Geez, why am I getting mental block? I
I don't know.
forgot.
But Peter said it takes a lot of balls to do that. Peter is right. You go from doing the DC Improv, which is a staple
Yeah,
comedy legend place in DC. So after
Exactly.
that, your next thought is let me go to New York. That's your next thought.
Exactly. My next thought was like, let me go to DC. I mean, to New York. I want to go do a show also in New York. I get to New York. This is how you understand. New York like crowd is so different than DC crowd, right?
Sure.
Because either has New York has so much of the entertainment going on, so everything is like in their face. So it's like almost like, hey man, you gotta bring it here.
Right. Right.
You can't just bring you can bring some weak stuff in New York. So I went the same material that I killed in DC. I went in New York and it felt horrible. It's like everybody was just staring at me like, what the heck are you talking about? So normally, like as a new comedian, when you don't know much about comedy, one of the things you start doing when you don't get laughs, you start speeding up. So you joke like, if I did not get them here, I'm gonna get them on the next punchline, right? So you speed up, and then you're losing them while you're speeding up. By the time you get to the punchline, everybody's just still looking at you. You get to the punchline, and you're like, "Oh, tight." Nobody laughing.
Right.
Now you're sweating it on stage. I remember I did in New York. They gave me my 5 minutes. I think I did that 5 minutes in 3 minutes.
All right. So look. So you did the comedy. You started off in the comedy thing. You did the improv. You went to New York. How do you because people are doing that. People are doing that. But the thing I think the thing people don't understand is that. So how long have you been doing comedy?
Oh, I've been doing comedy for about 13 years, 12,
Yeah.
13 years. Yep. Yep.
So this is back when like you said, like Def Jam went out, right? Like
So Def Jam, but I never done Def Jam.
no, I was just saying like comedy back then. Comedy was changing. It was
Yes.
becoming like. I mean, it's always comedy's always funny, but it was coming almost like it was part of our culture. Like it was hip hop. It was fresh. It was new. These crazy jokes were working on stage, right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yes.
you happen to be a part of that expansion, that growth. So
Yeah, so in a way, what I was doing is one of the things that so comedy. The good thing about the comedy industry, when you do open mics, right? If you're doing open mics and there's a nice room, you're always going to run into someone who maybe has been on TV or whatever, right? And
right,
when they run in there, they're not gonna act like, "Oh, I'm better than you," or whatever. Really,
right,
just normal, like you guys just hanging out until. But I know it's like you're like an open mic, like $5 guy, and then someone who's like $50,000 kind of, but $50,000 for 1 hour kind of show thing. So, but it's like a hangout spot. But so from
who's the
there,
first person? I want to cut you off, but listen, who's the first? So you're doing comedy. You're no one. This is 13 years ago. You're bombing in New York City. Who's the first person you run into at a comedy show where you looked and said, "I know that person. That person's a star." Like, do you remember the first person you saw that was?
yes, Dave Chappelle. Dave Chappelle. And here's the funny thing too. I picked him up from the airport. In my
In
limousine.
the limo business? You move like you picking up comedians in the limo. You double dip. You was double dip.
My limousine company, they booked, and actually he used a different name too. He didn't say Dave Chappelle. And when I picked up with my limousine sign at the airport,
Wait. He had a. Were you the car? Remember he had the special we saw about the baby standing on the corner in Southeast. He was in the back of the limo. Was that your
I
limo?
think probably no. He was not doing the special that time. No, when I picked him up, I think he was coming. He was doing something in town because I remember I took him to the Four Seasons, and then later he dropped off the bag, and then he was like, "Hey, can you take me to the DC Improv?" I was like, "I know where the DC Improv." And then I was looking for a window to just be like, "Hey, man, I'm a comedian too."
While you driving the
Yeah.
limo, you're like, by the way, if you need somebody to open for you, I can park this car and come in and
Yeah.
open.
Exactly.
But
So
he was
I
cool,
took
though,
him
right?
to, yeah.
He was cool though, right? Like Dave Chappelle
Oh
was
yeah,
cool.
cool, like very cool dude. Like even we got to the DC Improv, and so normally when he got to the DC Improv, it's like they just actually just kind of let him in. Like we got in there. I parked my car too, and so I wanted to see him perform. and he got in there, and they just let him jump on stage. I can't remember who was there. Also, they just let him jump on stage, and he just killed it. Right, like we just showing up for people. It was a comedy. It was I think it was a Friday night. Friday night we show up at the improv, DC Improv, and they let him on stage. He killed it, and then when he finished, I go grab the car. Uh, I saw him; he's about to get off stage. I ran to the car, brought the car front, and then I saw the way he was interacting with people. Right, the way he was interacting with people, and um, just a humble guy, right? So it was so nice to see him just kind of, Anyway, so from there, that was my first guy, and then from there, I have driven from just my limo company a lot of other comedians like Jamie Foxx, So yeah.
Yeah. So how do you, so look? How do you get? Do you remember what do you think, if you can think back in your mind? What do you think was your big break? Like you're doing a comedy, but what was the thing that like really just like launched you out there? You remember what it might have been?
I guess one of the thing I can't say really I made it in the comedy industry, but I had my opportunity where I was traveling doing comedy stand up like a tour. I did a tour for like 2 years, went all over the country, which was awesome, and I think I enjoyed that way more, traveling, kind of go see the area. I used to do this like when I travel. I go to the place maybe a day area or two, and then just kind of tour around the place, right? And that allowed me also to kind of capture maybe not the culture, but just people, kind of the area. Like if you come, yeah, like if you come to DC, you want to talk stuff a little bit about DC, right?
Right.
So people love that when you go and start pointing out the thing that they know, maybe they just don't see as something special. You start pointing out, and you're making joke out of it. So it's kind of, So I like that, and also just doing comedy, it kind of like it's almost like you're adding like an experience tour, like a vacation out of it. And anyway, from doing that, and maybe getting booked like corporate gigs,
Yeah, but Ed,
maybe.
you're being weird. Look, ladies and gentlemen, if you're still watching this, Ed is being super humble. Let me help you with this. So I met Ed while he was doing his tour. Ed was doing his own tours. Like he just sped past that like that was nothing. He was organizing, doing travel. We
Yeah.
were his bartending company for his own tours. And so I can say it, maybe Ed won't. Ed, you at least from what I saw, I remember we did events. You had Kyle Groom at your events, and Kyle was, I mean, he was big then, he's still big now. And
Yep.
I'm friends with him. I can't hang out with him, but I'm friends with him. You had Tiffany Haddish before anybody even knew who she was, right? And I'm not trying to make it seem like that. Rachel Feinstein. I remember we did her comedy show. You
Mhm.
had what's my man? What's the dude? The white dude with the goatee, the crazy white dude, man.
You're not talking about
It wasn't Gary. It was
Gary Owens. We did a show with Gary
no,
Owens about
hey,
before.
Mike,
Yeah,
Mika,
Gary.
Micah.
Hmm?
Is it Micah or Mika? What's the crazy white guy's name? I'm friends with him too.
Listen, I have done my share of comedy with like a lot of people. Yeah, in the industry. One other thing that I learned also is I wanted to do comedy and not just get just labeled as a black comedian, right?
Right.
I love when you do a comedy show with the mixed audience, right? And you see how audience connect by laughter. Like these people are enjoying to see like you telling a joke and everybody get it, and I'm like, this unites us instead of like with so much stuff going on in the world right now. So comedy is one of those things, kind of unite people, kind
But,
of bring people
but
together.
there's,
So yeah.
there's a special thing that you were doing, which I saw, right? Is look, there's comedy shows all over the place, right? Everybody's doing it, right? It's like real estate agent. Everyone's a comedian, right?
Yeah.
But how did you and your team? Because I mean, how did you recognize that Tiffany Haddish was funny before anybody else knew that? How did you know that like Rachel Feinstein was funny before. But dude, I was working your events, and then years later, I would be on Netflix and I'd see this special. I'm like, oh my god, I got a picture with her.
Yeah.
Like, how do you, as a comedian, as someone that's organized those events, how do you know? How do you know the world doesn't know about these people? How do you know about them?
I guess it's not really about for me, it was not really to be like, oh, this person is gonna be famous one day. For me, it was more like uh first I wanted to mix. Like I don't like I'm one of those people like I hate when you go to a comedy show and you see all like let's say five dudes, all five dudes show. I hate that. Or like all female comedian. I hate that. I like to mix it, right? And for me, I guess it's more like who's funny and how can I'm like a what do you call like a matchmaker almost kind of like I would say if I get this comedian is gonna be good with this comedian and this good comedian, we're gonna have a great show.
That's
So I'm
it.
like that to kind of
Yeah,
pick the right people to put like a comedy show, kind of
that's what we call you now. You're the comedy matchmaker. Hashtag comedy whisperer. You're the comedy whisperer. Is what we gonna call you.
comedy whisper. Yeah, man. So yeah.
So from those shows though, what kind of doors? What were you able to do? And I want you to speak more to it. What those shows? What kind of doors did they open for you?
Um, I mean, when I was traveling,
Because you
when
were
I was,
selling out, Ed. You were selling out theaters, man. I want
I
people
mean,
to realize it wasn't like little hotel rooms and little dive bars. You were selling out theaters, and this was and people weren't. This was before people were doing all their Netflix and HBO specials.
I guess it's one of those things too. I did not put so much energy into it. Probably if I did, probably by now, maybe I will have like a more like a name in the industry. So my biggest venue I have done a sold out venue. It was me, Nima William,
That's who
and
it was. Nima. I said Micah. It was
oh,
Nima.
Nima William, yeah. So we did. Me and Nima, we traveled all over the nation. I remember uh, we packed a 1,300 people crowd, like in the theater. And for comedian, that's huge. Like we did two shows. Two shows. The first show was 1,300, and the next show was like 700 people, like that. So theater is
Yeah,
12.
dude, 2,000 people in the weekend. Some bands can't even get
Mhm.
1,300 people
Oh
inside.
yeah, it was good. I mean, I was making some round there to just kind of getting my name out there. So yeah, it was awesome. If I would continue maybe like but again I wanted to really focus on my company which we developed now. Is like I was like I need to finish this company, just kind of be 100% into it, and then maybe later I can just do comedy as like people play golf. I'm like, all right, just for to leave not into to go into say like, oh, so it's more like I'm doing this. Like people, there are people who play professional golf, and there are people who just play for fun to relieve, kind of, just stress reliever kind of things. That's what I would do for me, not to be like, oh, I'm trying to take money out of professional comedian or whatever.
Right. So
Yeah.
what's the next thing for you, man? What's the next phase? What do you got coming up? What's next?
Right now, I'm working on my company, Helen Super App. This super app is a like this idea is it's big in the Asia market. They have like company like Gojek, WeChat, and Didi. They are a huge company over there. So with Helen, we are developing hopefully to be the first super app in the US for on-demand service, where we are combining like rideshare, grocery delivery, restaurant delivery, retail delivery, then you do flight booking and vacation rental. So imagine combining Airbnb, Kayak, Uber, Instacart, like all this company in one app, which is doable. Is doable, but it's like it's a new idea in the US where people maybe they might be like, oh, that's not too much or whatever. If you look at it like maybe small a small mini super app is like, let's say right now if you take Kayak, on Kayak you can book a flight, hotel, and car rental, right?
Right,
That's a mini super app. we
right.
With Helen we just adding three more. Instead of three, now you have six different services.
Yeah, well, in the world we live in today, I mean, kind of to your point, sometimes when I talk to clients, you almost do this thing where like people say stuff to me like, "Hey, I sent you a message," right? They're like, "Hey, I sent you a message." Where was it? An email, text? We live in a world now with things. We have so much. We've never been connected the way that we're connected now, right? Like everybody can send you a message through Instagram, Twitter, LinkedIn, TikTok, Facebook. But what if there was a place like you're saying where it was all in one place? What if you can go to one place and just handle all of your instead of having whose phone doesn't have 9 million apps?
So many, I know, so many apps, and it's going to continue, and it's going to continue. It's going to be so many apps being built, being introduced. So we saying in Helen is like, listen, we are saving you room in your app, and you have one app. You don't have to give your personal and credit card information to different apps. One app, it can do everything for you.
Right.
You can press a difference, and hopefully from there, as we grow, we're going to be able to expand, adding more service into it.
And I know you're going to say yes to this, but do you think that building that comedy empire that you did, do you think running that limo company like you did, do you think, because I know you've done the luxury vacation thing,
Yeah.
I know you've also launched products. Do you think all of that, like the history of you doing that, prepared you for this Helen thing?
Oh yeah, definitely, exactly. Yeah, because I kind of saw a lot of this stuff. Like even when I was traveling or just kind of doing like booking hotel flight and also doing my limousine company, and also I tried when I sold my company, when I sold my limousine company, I tried to do the Uber, Lyft, Grubhub thing, and I saw the gap where I saw how much drivers are not making enough money, right? And
Right.
also they got a deal and to keep flipping back and forth. Like let's say you have one Uber has three, you have one drivers who has three different apps like Uber, Lyft, and then they have Grubhub. So that means they got to keep flipping back and forth to
Yeah.
just stay busy, right? To just stay
Right.
busy for them to make a living. So now we're telling them like, hey, you're gonna have 4 different apps on your phone that they're gonna give you different job. If you want to do ride share, you pick up someone, drop off. As soon you drop off, the app is gonna be like, hey, do you want to deliver food? You say yes or no. If soon you drop off, hey, there's grocery if you want to pick up grocery. So we keep you going. So by the time is like if you say you work 9, 10 hours a day, you made like really enough money instead of you just sitting somewhere for 45 to 1 hour waiting for one trip from there, one trip. So we closing that gap so driver can make a living and be able to support their family. And yeah, this kind of helped me to prepare me to be able to build this super app.
Right. That's dope. So look, what kind of advice do you think that you would give someone? Let's say someone starting off, whether it be comedy or business, what kind of life advice? Let's say someone's watching this right now and they watched you and they've seen you grow, or they may know your story, or even if they don't, what kind of advice would you give that person just starting off? Like they don't know where they're going, left, right, up, down. They don't know where the money's coming in. What would you say to that person that's watching this right now?
For comedy,
Mm-hmm.
all right, comedy. Um, one of the thing probably I know probably it might not be. Uh, I like the idea of taking like the comedy class. Not to if you're not funny, the comedy class is not gonna do anything for you. Yeah, yeah, that's not gonna do anything for you.
They
But
can teach you how to be funny.
if you're not funny, you're not gonna be funny for that. Like the comedy class I'm telling you, I took at the DC Improv. The only reason it really helped me is it kind of almost kind of showed me some ways, right?
Right.
And from there, I was able also to let's say breaking news. The Minnesota theater just canceled 15 zoo out show. The theater stated that it wasn't safe. Such a hard time for all of them. Peter Banadona. Thanks, Peter. Um, I would suggest to take that class because that class is going to expose you to some things that you need to learn in a to learn in the industry, right? So
Right.
not necessarily it's not going to teach you to be funny, but it's just going to teach you things about comedy. So I would suggest do that. If you cannot do that, do open mics. Uh, Thanks, Jessica. Nice all-in-one funneled up. Thanks. Yes, it's an awesome. Helen is an awesome one. Um, do open do do open mics.
Open
Open
mic,
mic.
open mics are hard. You telling people to get up? Isn't that everyone's number one fear is speaking in front of a crowd? Isn't everyone scared to
Yes,
get out there?
yes. Here the thing. Here the thing. To be scared is normal. I get scared also before I jump on stage. I know what I'm gonna do, but I get scared. But it's like it's something that if you don't get that, probably I don't know what to tell you. But before you jump on stage, you're gonna have this. I don't know if it's anxiety, whatever it's called. So it's like it's almost like you warm, kind of like excited. But for new comedian that I'm talking
Butterflies, man.
to,
They call it butterflies.
okay, call it butterfly. But as soon you jump on stage, as soon you say hi and you say a few words and you hear a chuckle, that's it. You just gonna forget all the fears. But for new comedian, I'm about to say is go to open mics. Even if you're not prepared to jump on stage, just go watch open mics, and also trying to combine with real shows. So watch open mics, and then maybe buy a ticket to watch a really comedian at your local comedy show. I'm talking about a really paid
Yeah,
traveling
yeah,
comedian.
because some people, I again didn't mean to cut in there, but some people won't invest into going to see an actual comedian do
Yeah,
his thing that he's paid to do. Like they want to make they won't invest that money. Whatever. Let's say that ticket is $100 to see
yeah,
Seinfeld, or whatever. You need to invest that money because you need to see how Seinfeld is doing his production. You need to see on that level how things executed, and then you take away, right? You take things you learn from that, and then you incorporate it back at your open mic show.
yeah.
Maybe there was something that you saw there that could help you at your open mic.
Yes, like definitely. You have to watch the open mics and then watch really professional show and then combine. Because if you stuck only to watch these open mics, on open mics is people practicing doing practice on the jokes. So it's gonna be so much unfunny people. If you watch sometime, it's gonna make you feel like unfunny too.
Right.
But if you go watch a real show, it motivate you feel like, whoa, this is so funny. It makes you like, yo, I can do this to be funny more than this like broken open mic. But it's like both of them, they go hand in hand. Do open mic, watch open mic, and also go to real show. And also another thing is, if you're a new comedian, don't get stuck in one city, right?
Right.
Uh, do not get stuck in one city. If you live in DC, do the open mic in DC, but sometime invest, go to Philadelphia for open mics, go to New York for open mics, because you don't want to be the only funny guy in DC where you end up telling jokes like almost all of them sound like inside jokes, and
Right.
people only in DC they know you're talking about go-go bands or whatever. So I'm not. I'm just mentioning that if there's a comedian talks about go-go band, I'm
No,
just giving an
no one,
example.
no one thinks that you. No one thinks that you're. This world we live in now, right? You gotta be careful what you say.
Just
No
yeah.
one,
I don't want us to offend
no one
someone thinking I
cancel.
was talking
We're
about
not
them.
gonna
No, I
cancel. We're not gonna
just an
cancel.
example.
Go.
Yeah, yeah,
So I
yeah,
see, like the larger, I see like the like say like we were talking with Dave Chappelle, or like you had talent. Just
yeah.
last
Talent.
week
Yeah,
you were interviewing talent. I know that like
Mr.
before they do a special, or before they do a big show, what do you guys do? You go out and do the open mics, right? Like you want to hone in on your thing before you put it out there, right? So isn't that a good opportunity to like sharpen your teeth, or get your jokes, get your timing down? Because that's where you want to make the mistakes at, right? Is it at the open
Yes,
mic?
you want to make a mistake and open mind. So another thing I was about to mention, where I used to do when I'm like, let's say I'm traveling to Houston. Let's say I have a show in Houston Friday, maybe on Saturday, or maybe just one night in Houston, like Friday. So what I will do, I will look for open mics in Houston, right? And when I look for open mics in Houston, I will see is the open mic on Thursday or Wednesday. And if it's on Wednesday or Thursday, I will go there to do an open mic in Houston, right? So
Right.
normally I have a show, but I will go do an open mic in Houston to just kind of fill the crowd also in Houston. And then from that open mic, people don't know at the open mic, they might be like, oh, most of the time when you go do an open mic, the people that are at the open mic, probably they are not the people going to be at the show anyway. So you do that, and then you do your show on Friday or Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Cool, well, dude. This has been dope. Anything out
Yep.
there you want to share with the people out there? Anything you got? What you got coming up next? What's next for Ed
Right now, I'm just really I'm just working on the Helen super app, and it's called, if you visit the website, it's called gethelen.com. So it's HALEN, gethelen.com. So
Are we
that's
able to
this.
download the app yet?
Sorry, I missed what you said.
Can people download the app right now?
Right now we have a bit, not a beta. We have an MVP that's it's more clickable. Like people can click and just see how it works. For that, maybe you can go to test.gethelen.com. So
Man,
test, like the word test, then dot gethelen.com. Helen is HALEN.
you are way braver than I am, man. I had reached out to some people because I thought about, I need a Sugar Rim Bar app. I'm out here doing all these events. I'm taking over the world. Man, they sent me that invoice. I was like, I can just stick with a website. We don't need no app right now.
No, you need that app, man. You need that app,
No,
and
no,
probably
no.
can connect people for event.
I was saying an app for me for Sugar Rim Bar.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Yeah, you need that app for connecting people for events. Maybe even be like, hey, there's events here. There's so
The invoice they sent me to create an app. I was like, I'm good. I don't need an app.
yeah.
They wanted.
Oh, Peter asked my social media. I don't know if Corey too gonna say my social media, on all over. So Twitter, Facebook, Instagram. For the company is called Helen Social. Against the odds. So it's like if you go to facebook.com/Helen Social, and the Helen Social is just Helen Social, HALEN Social. That's it. Everywhere Helen Social is going to be all over the social media. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And also I'm on LinkedIn as just Edward Mbeche, and and Twitter, and then on Facebook I'm Ed Blaze.
all over.
Yeah, just gonna have the Ed Blaze was my stage name for traveling doing stand-up comedy, and of course the Edward is that corporate name.
So
Peter, you gotta have two names, one for the comedy and one for the
right.
corporate.
So if I write you a corporate check for $10,000, can Ed Blaze cash the check?
If you write up for Ed Blaze's name,
Ed Blaze.
No, it doesn't. No, Ed Blaze can.
Ed Blaze can't cash the check.
Yeah, you gotta be a conversation like, hey man, can you change this name with a different name? Yeah, man.
All right, man. Well, this is dope, man. I appreciate you taking your time, man, sharing your story with everybody. And hopefully, somebody who's watching this, maybe they get inspired. Maybe, like I said, we didn't even go all into just. And look, without making it seem like you're name dropping, right? Because people really don't, that kind of comes off kind of whatever. But who are some of the people that you can call in the comedy world? I really think people really don't know how connected you are, man.
Yeah, yes, Peter. That's how you spell it, Ed Blaze. Yes. I can call. Okay, so let's say big name, right? Big name comedian, right?
Right.
Some of them they might not pick up, but like if I'm walking on the street, and I wave, they're like, "Oh yeah, Ed."
And that's what Talon was saying. Talon was saying like when the camera's on or whatever, they can do it. But when you're backstage in that green room, what happens? They come up, they say, "Hey, what's up?"
They definitely, like some big name comedian be like, "Hey Ed, how are you?" And that's it. But if I call them, probably they're not gonna pick up. But they will say hi.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. So who are some of the people that you can do that with, Ed?
Who are the people? What?
I was asking who are some of the people that you can do that with?
I can do the call.
Yeah, could you call Dave? Could you call if you ran into Dave Chappelle? Would he be like, "Hey, you was my limo driver back in the day"?
I don't know if he remembers me as a limo. I never told him again, but probably he might just remember me as a comedian, like Jim Gaffigan and a few other comedians. If they see me, like, hey Ed, that's
Right.
it.
With
Oh, I remember one time, funny thing too. I don't know if he knew me or whatever. Like the guy used to date Jennifer Aniston. What's the guy's name? The guy, the white boy with this spiky hair. I remember him in the movie again. I can't remember his name. Oh my gosh. He was not dating. I think they were married too, I think.
Let me
Uh,
Google white guy with spiky hair. Hold on. Let me see what pops up.
she said,
Google
"Go to
white
the
guy with
comedian."
spiky hair.
Hey, thanks, Peter. I can't remember his name again.
Guy Fury.
No,
No, I'm just.
Jennifer. I didn't think I should. No, he. So I was at the comedy club in New York, and like he was like sitting on the other side. I'm sitting in, and he comes, "Yeah, what's up, man? Where you going? Yeah, good to see you, man." And I'm like, "Yeah, good to see you." And I'm like, "Dang, you Jennifer Aniston is ex boyfriend, ex." But I can't.
You talking about Ben Affleck?
No. I think you're talking about
Brad Pitt?
uh,
Jennifer Aniston? Jennifer Aniston. That's Brad Pitt, man.
no, not no. Hold on, I'm gonna tell you now.
Oh, now see, that's your OCD, and now you gotta know now.
I can't remember his name again. Like, if I can remember his name. Uh,
You talking about? You saying Jennifer Aniston was on Friends? Jennifer Aniston.
yes. Justin three
Justin
rocks.
Theroux.
Something.
Justin Theroux.
Yeah, Justin Thoreau,
I
something like
thought you
that.
talking about another. You talking
Hey,
about Justin Theroux?
Peter, have a nice day, man. Yeah. So, yeah. I know a few people in the industry, but
I
yeah,
feel
I
like
appreciate it, man.
I kind of feel like I may have a shot with Jennifer Aniston.
Yeah, sure.
I'm saying if you just take Brad Pitt out, if you take Brad Pitt out, I got a shot. Justin Theroux,
No,
she dated.
they are not together. I think
No, I'm
she's
saying
single.
the people that she dated on her. If you take Brad Pitt out, she was with Justin Theroux, Vince Vaughn. There was somebody else that she was with.
So you have a shot.
I'm
Listen,
saying regular dudes.
listen. A lot of time women make mistakes, so you have a shot.
I could be her mistake, and I could have been her
You can
mistake.
beat that mistake, right?
Yeah. Like I said, if you just, I can't run with Brad Pitt. I can't hang with him. He got me.
Listen,
With the other dudes,
you
I'm going.
traveling, you're doing a lot of events. I won't be surprised you run into her. You'd be like, "Hey, remember you're talking shit about me? So what's up?" Yeah. Yes, Jessica. Justin was her last fiance. Yes, was her. Yes, that was the guy. Justin. I keep saying
Justin
Theroux.
Theroux. Justin Theroux. Yeah, I remember. And the
He's
black
a,
hair.
he's the guy is like we were sitting in a comedy club in New York, and she's sitting over there. He had a date, and he just saw me, and he came. He's like, "Hey, what's up, man? Good to see you." And I know I think I don't know if he still does, but he does some stand up also here and there.
Right.
But yeah, that was him. Yeah.
So
Yeah,
Ed,
he was good too.
before we go, let the people want to know, Ed. They're calling me. I'm getting messages left and right over here. Are you going back on stage? Are you gonna get back on stage?
Yes. So once in a while, I get bookings from people like they will call me to host stuff, like some random reason, like, "Hey man, can you host this event? Can you do this?" So normally it's like I'm like, "No man, I can't," because I know I haven't been on stage for a long time now, and I haven't been on stage for like almost I don't want to say 3 years because
No, you
I
just
just
did. I just saw you. I
just
just
did
saw
a
you
show.
in that leather
Yeah, I
jacket.
went to host. I
You had
went to
that.
host,
You had that
but
Eddie Murphy. What's up? Why does everybody? Let me ask you this, Ed. Why does a comedian wear the leather jacket? Who started that? Was it Richard Pryor? Why do you have to wear that leather outfit? Why is everybody wearing that leather? You had
it's
on
not.
a leather coat.
It was not leather jacket. There was some patches of leather, but it was not a leather jacket. I was looking fly, man. It had some patches of leather, but it was
What is it with
it
the
was a nice.
comedians and the leather? What is it with the leather? Why do y'all have to wear the leather? What is it?
I don't know. I guess his way of just trying. It's almost like you don't want to wear a suit, but you don't want to wear a t-shirt. So you want to meet in the middle. So the leather jacket kind of, and it's hard to find jackets. So leather jacket, they're always easy to find to style yourself. It's easy to style yourself in a leather jacket.
I need you to do me a favor. Next time you go on stage, the same way Jay Z put death to auto tune, I need Ed Blaze to put a death to the leather jacket in the comedian, man. It's gotta go. And then the whole one piece Eddie Murphy leather suit. Don't you? Ed, I bet
You
that
know
ever
what?
on stage.
You know what? I'm gonna go find something to wear on stage next time. I know I haven't been on stage for a long time. I hosted my last comedy was my boy Tracy Jackson's birthday, and the hosting is
Don't
kind
bring
of
him up. He might call.
Hmm?
Don't bring him up. He might pop up on this live stream. Talk about it. Like,
Probably he's sleepy.
he's like
Yeah.
Candyman. He says his name 5 times. He just shows up out of nowhere.
Yeah. Yeah, but yeah, man. So yeah, I appreciate, man. Thanks for this awesome interview. I know this was my side to tell the story, right? I appreciate it. Corey. Corey, where can they find you?
At the Headliner Show, man, we stream every day at between 12 and 1 o'clock. It'd be making me go live. I'll be in the middle of, I'll be delivering a baby. It'd be like, hey, man, trying to go live in 5 minutes.
Drop that baby. Drop that baby. Come to the headliners, buddy. Forget the baby. Yeah, I know. I'm one of those. Like, I'll be like, hey, Corey, man, I need you. So, and you're awesome. That's why I'm always calling, man. I'm like, hey, let's do this.
Look, Ed, honestly, man, I'm not saying this because we're on the stream, whatever. But Ed, you supported me back when nobody would. When we was doing those comedy shows, Ed,
yeah.
Man, I wasn't doing 10, 15 events a week.
I remember. I'm not gonna say what kind of car you used to drive.
What did I drive back then? What was I driving then?
Was it like I think it was an Acura, like a 4-door sedan Acura, whatever. It was a Honda, maybe? I don't know.
You know what? I had a 98 Lexus.
That's what it was. Yes.
98. And look, Ed, that was my sister. It wasn't even my car. It was my sister's car. I took it. I think I got it. She let me borrow it, and I just, I kept it, maintained it, drove it, and and then. But the other thing, Ed, is like a lot of people don't know this either. Is I'm almost certain. I don't think we shared the bar. Not like we was making a ton of money, but I don't think you ever asked me for any money from the bar.
Nope.
I don't think you guys did.
Nope.
I think you allowed me to come in and do my thing, but I don't think you took any of the bar revenue money, which is, people don't do that.
Yeah. Like, listen, it's always good to find like good people to surround yourself with good people, right? And
right.
Just I think maybe I'm like halfway good judge of character, like, right? And look, we've been friends now for a long time, and I think you're a good dude, and so normally it's like I would just fade away. Like if you're not a good dude, you would start be like, yo, why Eddie's not calling me?
Right.
Yeah.
No,
I would just fade.
Man.
Yep.
Thanks, man.
Yep.
But yeah, so everybody can find me everything is Sugar Rim Bar. You type in Sugar Rim Bar, you will find me. All roads lead back to my cell phone.
We gotta do one of this, like just kind of invite every one of our friends or people like watching or see this podcast. Just be like, hey, come to DC. We do this event here, free drinks. Maybe like one of those cookout kind of thing. Let's do something like that. Maybe when it cools down a little bit, like in September, October, somewhere.
Yeah, can't we just do it virtual?
It'd be like, hey, you can click.
I'll mail you some drinks. Right? Like you, I'll ship you. Man, I'm trying to enjoy my life, man. Yeah, but no, we can definitely do that, man. You're the one to pack out the theaters, man. So
you know what? I will get to come out. Let's talk to people. Just kind of enjoy. We gotta find a place, like maybe rent like a mansion somewhere, and just just for connecting, having fun with people.
We're gonna have to find some other coming comedians because your friends are famous now, man. We can't afford them.
Yeah, I'm not gonna mention the name now. I have one of my famous comedian friends. Last time I called him, he picked up the call and he put like on the side, and he continue talking to other people. I was like, I'm not gonna mention his name, but I hung up and then I text him. I was cursing him on the text, so I haven't spoken to him again. I don't know if we're still cool or not.
All right, man. Well, thank you for your time, man, brother. I appreciate you, man.
Thanks, man. I'll talk to you later, right?
All right, brother.